They cross the line because they think you won't do anything. They push because they assume you won't push back. That's how people work. They test, they watch, they wait. And the first time you hesitate, they see everything they need to see. You've shown them where your limit is, and from that moment on, you're no longer fully in control of yourself. You're reacting to them. You're living on their terms. But here's the truth. Mercy without power is self-destruction. Respect is not handed out for free. It's built piece by piece. Machiavelli understood this. A throne isn't protected by wishes or hope. It's protected by the sharp edge of discipline. You don't win by yelling. You don't win by explaining yourself. You win by creating silence so heavy that it freezes the room. You win with a single action that hits harder than 1,000 words ever could. When someone disrespects you, they're not just insulting you. They're watching how you'll react. They're measuring if your actions match your words. And if they find a gap, if they see hesitation, they own you from that moment. So what do you become? Ice. Not ordinary ice. The kind of ice that burns when touched. The kind of silence that makes a room go still. The kind of presence that makes voices drop without you saying a word. You become cold enough that when someone crosses the line, they immediately know they made their final mistake. This isn't rage. This isn't revenge. This is pure strategy. You are not emotional. You are unshaken. Your line is law, and law does not flinch. Etch this into your memory. A man with no cold boundaries is already defeated. Say it to yourself until it becomes part of you. I am untouchable. I am the line. And stay with me, because you are about to learn Machiavelli's coldest answer. When the world dares to test you, they cross the line because they think there will be no price. That was their mistake. Your silence so far has looked like weakness, but that ends today. Today you learn a law colder than steel. Machiavelli himself said it. It is far safer to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. Why? Because fear respects limits. Love alone does not. People don't test you by accident. They test you because they know power is always being negotiated. Every insult, every slight, every betrayal is not random. It's a probe. They're searching for where you break. They want to see where your words stop and your backbone folds. And the moment they find that spot, you are theirs. The law is simple. Never let them think your line can be moved. That's why your response must be cold, not angry, not emotional. Anger shows weakness. Coldness shows control. When you respond without heat, you show them something rare. You show them you are in control of yourself. That's the most intimidating thing anyone can see. And here is your weapon. Don't argue. Don't defend yourself. Adjust access. That's it. One calm sentence. I don't argue. I adjust access. Speak it with calm precision and let the air go still. No debate, no extra words, no long speech. You take away what they value. Your time, your attention, your presence. And that hurts far worse than shouting ever could. Machiavelli taught that a ruler must be both the lion and the fox. The lion enforces, the fox knows when to withdraw. Together, they create a strategy no one can escape. That is your role. You must become both. Write this down and let it sink into your mind. I don't argue. I adjust access. Say it until it feels natural. Because once you master this, you will stop bleeding power. You will become untouchable. Silence is not weakness. It is not running away. Silence is a weapon sharper than any word. Most people are too scared to use it. They feel they must speak, must defend themselves, must prove their point. But the moment you argue, you step into their frame. You play by their rules. And when you do that, you've already lost. Silence keeps you in control. Silence creates pressure. It forces them to feel the weight of their own actions. People cannot sit in silence for long without exposing themselves. They start to talk, to explain, to justify. And all the while you stay quiet, calm, steady, like an executioner who hasn't yet moved. This is why silence is powerful. It flips the entire situation. They start wondering what you are thinking, what you will do if they went too far. That uncertainty eats them alive. Think of Machiavelli's fox. The fox doesn't warn its enemies. It watches, it waits, it lets the enemy trap itself. That's what your silence does. It's the invisible rope tightening around their neck. The rule is simple. When you are disrespected, do not react right away. Let the silence drop like winter frost. 1 second, 2 seconds, 5. Hold their eyes if you need to. Say nothing. Do not move. Let them sit in the tension they created. In that silence, They will feel your law. They will know they made a mistake without you saying a single word. And when you do finally speak, your words will cut like steel. Few, measured, final. Machiavelli said that a prince must be both feared and respected. Controlled silence creates both. Fear comes from unpredictability. Respect comes from discipline. Silence gives you both at once. It shows you are not a man ruled by impulse. You are a man who decides when and how things will move. If you want real power, here it is. First, when insulted, stay quiet. Let silence answer for you. Second, if you must say something, keep it short. No more than 7 words. Cold, sharp, final. Not acceptable. That ends here, nothing else. Third, leave. End the conversation. Adjust access. Let them sit with the sound of their own disrespect. This isn't passive. This is strategy. While they shout and burn themselves out, you get colder. You save energy. And when you do act, it's final. Remember, silence isn't emptiness. Silence is control. It is dominance without lifting a finger. Say this to yourself until it becomes instinct. My silence is power. Make it echo in your head until you feel it. This is how you stop chasing respect and start commanding it. Silence is the coldest weapon you have. And there is more. In the next part, we go deeper into how to build something even stronger. An aura so sharp, so unshakable, that people know not to cross you before they even try. Power isn't just what you do. It's what people expect from you before you move. That expectation must be shaped, sharpened, and enforced until it becomes your presence. Machiavelli knew this. A ruler isn't respected because he shouts, but because the very air around him says there are limits you don't cross. If your boundaries only appear when someone disrespects you, you're already late. A man of power carries his standards with him all the time. People feel them in how you sit, how you speak, even in what you don't say. They should never be wondering if you'll tolerate disrespect. They should already know you won't. That is the law. Build your boundaries into your presence. When a man keeps repeating his limits, it means no one takes them seriously. When your aura is cold, steady, unshakable, no one wants to test it. Think of a fortress. The strongest castles didn't have to fight every day. Their walls, their gates, their guards were enough to keep enemies away. Your aura is that fortress. It says, I don't beg, I don't plead. Cross me, and you lose access to the kingdom I built. And here's how you create that aura. First, precision. You decide once what is acceptable and what isn't. Then you never bend. That is law. Second, consistency. You enforce it every time, with everyone, no exceptions. Friend, stranger, family, it doesn't matter. Third, speak less, act more. Don't warn, don't announce. Let people learn your rules through consequence, not lectures. Machiavelli said that people judge more by what they see than by what they feel. They see how you carry yourself before they ever feel the weight of your actions. This is why your presence must always send the message, cold control. That's what teaches them what happens if they step too far. Here's the deeper truth. People respect what they are afraid to lose. When you enforce your standards, you teach them that access to you is rare, valuable, and not free. You become scarce. You become expensive. And in power, scarcity builds respect far faster than generosity. Say this out loud. My boundaries are law. Because when your aura is set, you don't have to keep defending yourself. Your presence defends you. Your silence does the work. Those who cross the line feel the price before you even act. That's the fortress effect. Build it, guard it, live it. Machiavelli said that harm must be done quickly so it leaves a lasting mark, but rewards should be given slowly so they are valued. This isn't cruelty, it's control. When someone crosses the line and you let them slide, you have already shown weakness. When you punish out of anger, you show instability. But when you punish coldly, cleanly, and decisively, you show law. People respect pain more than words. They don't remember your speeches. They remember the moment they touched fire and got burned. That's why punishment is necessary. Not to make you feel better, but to make sure they never forget the line. And here is the twist. Punishment must always be calculated. You never punish just to vent your emotions. You punish to teach. And you punish once, so effectively that they never dare test you again. There are 3 principles: speed, precision, and finality. Speed means acting right away. Delay kills authority. When someone crosses you, respond quickly. If you wait, they think you had to work up the courage. Swift action shows your boundary was always active. Precision means hitting exactly where it hurts. No more, no less. Too much punishment looks desperate. Too little looks weak. The most painful thing you can take from someone is access to you. Withdrawal of favor is more powerful than confrontation. Finality means no dragging it out, no long conversations. One move, clean and cold, then silence. Picture a king. When he executes, he does it fast, publicly, then moves on. No rant, no repeat. The act itself speaks for him. The lesson is learned. That is how you must act. Don't confuse punishment with rage or violence. In modern life, the most powerful punishments are psychological: exclusion, indifference, silence. Nothing cuts deeper than being made irrelevant in someone's world. That's the punishment they will never forget. And this is the benefit. Every time you enforce, your aura grows stronger. People learn not to test you. The lesson spreads. Fear does the work for you. Say this and make it part of your mind. I punish once, I punish cold. That is how you command respect without endless fighting. Machiavelli said it clearly. Men must either be crushed or left alone. Anything in between leads to revenge. So when you strike, do not scratch. Cut deep, make it permanent. This is the art of punishment. Cold, precise, final. Machiavelli warned rulers not to be too available, because too much exposure makes people lose respect. The same is true for you. If you are always available, always present, your value drops. But when you pull back, when you disappear on your own terms, you turn your absence into power. You make people feel what life is like without you. That creates respect. That creates demand. Most people never do this because they're scared of being forgotten. But that fear is weakness. Scarcity is what makes you valuable. Think of fire. If it burns non-stop, people stop noticing. But when it goes out, the cold sets in and everyone feels the loss. That's what your absence does. It creates a void that forces them to notice you. Control your presence like a weapon. Show up rarely. Show up with purpose. Show up only when it serves your power. Then leave before they take too much. Scarcity makes you unforgettable. Your absence turns you into legend. There are 3 ways to use absence. The first is sudden withdrawal. When someone disrespects you, disappear completely. No warning, no speech, just gone. The silence will eat at them. They'll sit with nothing but their own guilt. The second is calculated space. Even with friends or allies, pull back. Create a gap so they feel your absence. Then come back, sharper, colder. Every return feels like an event. When someone crosses a line that cannot be repaired, you do not argue. You do not explain. You do not ask for them to understand. You disappear. No second chances. No long speeches. No dramatic closure. You leave the space cold and empty. That silence becomes the punishment. It delivers the message louder than anything you could say. You are no longer allowed inside the world I built. That is the coldest, most final response you can ever give. And it is exactly what Machiavelli would have advised. He wrote that a ruler must know how to be both loved and feared. Disappearing is the perfect mix of both. It terrifies them because they never know if they will get you back, and if they ever do, they appreciate it more than they ever did before. That combination of fear and gratitude makes you unforgettable. Never explain why you left. Never tell them what they did wrong. Never break the silence with justification. Explaining dilutes the power of the strike. It turns a sharp, clean cut into a weak plea. Instead, leave them with the mystery. Let them lie awake, wondering what pushed you away. Let them invent stories about where you went, who you are with, what you are planning next. That silence will haunt them far longer than any words you could speak. Mystery keeps your name alive longer than your presence ever could. Say this out loud right now. My absence is my power. Say it until you feel it. When you finally believe this, you will stop begging for attention, for closure, for understanding, and you will start commanding attention without asking for it. People always want what they cannot have. They respect what they cannot easily reach. They value what they cannot control. Your absence teaches them your value in a way that no amount of talking ever could. This is the Machiavellian art of disappearing, cold, controlled, final. Machiavelli's law is brutal, but it is eternal. It is safer to be feared than to be loved. Love is fragile because it depends on feelings, and feelings shift like sand. Fear is stronger because it burns into memory. People who fear crossing you regulate themselves. They pause before they act. They watch their tone. They police their own behavior. You do not need to chase their respect, because fear makes them hand it to you. But this kind of fear must be built carefully. There is chaotic fear, and there is engineered fear. Chaotic fear leads to rebellion, resentment, revenge. Engineered fear leads to caution, obedience, and respect. Weak men try to create fear through shouting, through rage, through desperate threats. That is not power. That is panic. A powerful person terrifies with calm inevitability. They do not need to raise their voice. Their very silence is the warning. People know that crossing them will cost them everything, not because they threaten it, but because their past actions prove it. Fear is built on 3 pillars: consistency, unpredictability, and consequence. First, your boundaries must be law. When someone crosses a line, you must respond every time. No exceptions. No looking the other way. This consistency teaches everyone that testing you is a guaranteed loss. Second, while your standards remain consistent, your methods must stay unpredictable. Never let them know exactly how you will respond. Sometimes you disappear. Sometimes you take away access. Sometimes you punish publicly. This unpredictability keeps them unsteady and overthinking, forcing them to respect you even more. Third, the fear must always have a cost. Fear is not created by words. Fear is created by the memory of what it cost the last person who crossed you. Take away something they value: trust, access, privilege, opportunity. These punishments leave marks, not physical, but psychological. They stay in memory, and memory is where fear grows. Machiavelli compared rulers to lions and foxes. The lion creates fear through force. The fox creates fear through cleverness. To be truly powerful, you must be both. The lion shows that you are capable of striking hard. The fox makes sure they never see when the strike is coming. Together, they create an aura so strong that people behave correctly before you even speak. That is engineered fear. It does not announce itself. It does not brag. It simply exists in the room, heavy and undeniable. People will whisper about you when you are not there. They will exaggerate your punishments. They will warn others not to cross you. Those whispers become your shield, your protection. Here is the coldest truth of all. Fear lasts longer than kindness. A gift is forgotten in weeks. A punishment is remembered for years. But when fear is crafted correctly, it does not turn into hatred. It becomes respect wrapped in caution. Say this aloud right now. My fear commands respect. Write it until it burns into your mind. Once you understand this law, you will never need to raise your voice again. Your presence will do the talking. People who once disrespected you will move carefully, knowing one mistake could end their access to you forever. This is the Machiavellian mastery of fear, engineered, permanent, and quiet. Power dies the moment everyone can reach you. Familiarity kills respect. When people see too much of you, when you are too available, your authority evaporates. Machiavelli understood this well. He warned that a ruler must never become too common, too easy to touch, too ordinary. The second you blend in with the crowd will treat you as one of them, and the crowd never bows to itself. Distance is not weakness. Distance is power. It creates a gap between you and everyone else that forces them to look up, not across. That psychological distance is where respect is born. It means you are seen but not completely understood. It means people can watch you, but they cannot predict you. They can hear you, but they cannot access you whenever they want. You belong to no one, but everyone feels your presence. This separation makes you untouchable. There are 3 ways to enforce psychological distance. First, make your presence rare. Stop being everywhere. Stop replying to every message, every call, every demand. The more they see you, the more ordinary you seem. The less they see you, the more legendary you become. Second, control what you reveal. Do not share everything about yourself, your thoughts, your plans. Keep certain things hidden. Mystery is a form of gravity. It pulls respect toward you because people cannot fully read you. Machiavelli said that men judge more by the eye than by the hand. Show them only what builds your image. Hide the rest. Third, make your appearances deliberate. When you do show up, make sure it means something. Every word intentional, every move calculated. People will learn that when you appear, it matters, and when you leave, they will feel the silence you leave behind. Think of kings and generals. They did not walk through the streets every day. Their distance was their crown. It made their words echo louder. It made their silence heavier. It made their presence something to fear. You must do the same in modern life. You cannot be just another person in the swarm. You must be the one who stands apart. And here is the paradox. The more distance you create, the closer people feel. When they cannot have you, they crave you. When they cannot predict you, they respect you. When they cannot touch you, they fear losing you. This is psychological distance. It bends minds without effort. Say this aloud. My distance is my shield. Repeat it until you feel it. When you enforce psychological distance, you stop giving away your energy to everyone. You stop watering down your value. You stop being easy to reach, and you start being untouchable. This is not arrogance. This is law. The law of kings. The law of predators. The law of power. Machiavelli taught that appearances matter more than truth, because most people never dig past the surface. A ruler's survival depends less on who he really is, and more on who people believe him to be. This is the law of reputation. Ignore it, and you will spend your life defending yourself to people who have already judged you. Reputation is power that walks ahead of you. It clears paths before you arrive. It silences opposition. It forces respect before you even speak. But reputation does not build itself. It is engineered, brick by brick. Every boundary you enforce, every punishment you deliver, every silence you hold, these become the foundation of your reputation. Build it correctly, and your reputation becomes more feared than your physical presence. There are 3 rules to building a Machiavellian reputation. First, decide exactly what you want to be known for. Discipline, control, cold precision, whatever it is, choose and commit to it. Do not send mixed signals. The world remembers patterns, not randomness. Machiavelli said that men judge more by what they see than by what they can feel. Craft what they see. Second, defend your name like a crown. If someone stains it, act you are slandered. Counter with results that make the lie look small. If you are disrespected, enforce. Your name is more valuable than gold. And third, let others spread the myth for you. The strongest reputations are not shouted, they are whispered. People should tell stories about your coldness, your discipline, your punishments, your silence. Each action should feed the legend you are building. A strong reputation saves you energy. People regulate themselves when they know your name carries weight. They think twice before disrespecting you. They measure their tone. That is power without effort. But a weak reputation destroys you before you even make your first move. If people think you are weak, soft, unreliable, you have already lost. Decide right now what people will whisper about you when you are not in the room. Decide what kind of legend will follow your name. Say this aloud. My name is my weapon. Repeat it until you feel it in your bones. Once your reputation is forged cold and sharp, it will do what your presence alone never could. Command fear, respect, and obedience without you lifting a finger. Machiavelli warned that a ruler should never show all of his power openly. Power that is too visible becomes hated. Power that works in silence becomes permanent. This is the law of invisible control. To guide people's steps without them even realizing they are being guided. To bend them while letting them believe they are moving freely. Most people resist direct force, but they yield to influence. The greatest rulers, generals, and kings didn't control people with chains. They controlled the environment. They planted ideas silently, shaped the context, and let people walk into obedience by their own choice. This is not cheap manipulation. This is mastery. Never argue inside someone else's frame. Define the frame before the conversation begins. The first person to set the frame usually wins. If you define the battlefield, they fight where you want them to fight, and they lose without knowing why. Instead of commanding, give them choices, but both choices lead to your win. They think they are choosing freely, but you already decided the outcome. Sometimes silence is enough. Sometimes a subtle gesture. Sometimes a quiet absence. Rarely direct confrontation. People fear being openly controlled, but adapt naturally to subtle guidance. When they feel the cost without hearing a single threat, they police themselves. Machiavelli said men are driven by love or fear. Add a third, drive a need. Make yourself the source of something essential. Knowledge, opportunity, access, stability, whatever they value most. Make yourself the provider. When their survival leans on you, you own their actions without a single command. Think of the puppet master. His strings are invisible from a distance. The puppet thinks it moves freely, but every step is decided by the master's hand. That is invisible control. The less they see your influence, the longer they follow. People hate feeling ruled, but they crave leadership. They resist domination, but they want direction. Invisible control allows you to lead without looking like a tyrant. They will follow you and even thank you for it. But this requires cold patience. Never rush to show dominance. Never brag about influence. The loudest person is never the most powerful. True power moves silently. Say this aloud. I move the strings unseen. Say it until it feels real. Once you master this law, your power becomes untouchable. They will resist shadows while obeying your silence. But Machiavelli gave one last warning. The greatest danger is being discarded, replaced, and forgotten. Power is not secure until you make yourself essential. If they can live without you, they eventually will. If they can replace you, they eventually will. But if removing you means their world falls apart, you are untouchable. This is the final law: become irreplaceable. Understand this clearly. Men chase attention, but kings chase necessity. Attention fades quickly. Necessity lasts forever. Machiavelli wrote that wise rulers make themselves the cornerstone of the state, the one brick holding the whole structure together. Remove it, and the building collapses. You must become that brick: cold, solid, immovable. There are 3 strategies to achieve this. First, control what they value most. Pick one domain: knowledge, resources, opportunities, stability, and master it completely. Become so good that removing you would be unthinkable. Second, withdraw at key moments. Absence reminds them how much they need you. When you step back, the gaps you once filled become obvious. When you return, your value is undeniable. This cycle engraves the truth: they need you more than you need them. Third, fuse fear and respect together. Respect makes them admire you. Fear makes them avoid crossing you. Together, they make you impossible to remove. They may envy you, they may whisper about you, but they will not move against you, because deep down they know that losing you costs them more than keeping you. Here is the coldest truth: being liked is optional. Being needed is everything. Those who are liked are temporary. Those who are needed are permanent. Machiavelli's prince did not chase applause. He built leverage. He knew love fades, alliances shift, but necessity holds. If people wake up tomorrow and realize they cannot function without you, then your throne is secure. This is the crown of cold power. Every law we have gone through, the line, the silence, the aura, the punishment, the absence, the fear, the distance, the reputation, the invisible control, all of them lead to this final point: becoming irreplaceable. When you reach it, you are not just respected, you are part of the structure itself. Removing you would break the entire system. That is true sovereignty. Say this now: I am irreplaceable. Burn it into your mind. This is not ego, this is survival. This is the final stage of power. The stage where no one dares to attack you, because attacking you means hurting themselves. And that is when the crown of power rests on your head: cold, heavy, permanent.